All right, so if you're a programmer that has the pleasure of setting up this dialogue system, I'm going to help you get it all integrated into your project. So let's say you're starting with your your project all set up, however it is, whatever you got going on, 2D, 3D, doesn't matter. I've made this little demo where you can't do anything except for walk around, and there's just trees and these two guys turn into. So this is our starting game. Um, what you're gonna do is uh, go to the GitHub for the dialog system. Um, Here is the zip file. So you're just going to be downloading this. Here it is. Extract it. And then here's the folder with the dialog system. There's 3 different folders in it. Just take this big folder, and we're going to be putting this in our assets. Sweet. So just to walk you through what we have here, we have one prefab, which is the dialog canvas. So this is the UI that's going to be displaying the dialog box that pops up and the text, whatever the NPCs are saying. And then we have a couple animations for the dialog box, which are really kind of basic. And then we have the different scripts that are going to be used here. I'll give you some overviews on each of them. You don't really even need to look at them that closely to use them. But if you are curious about them, I commented them pretty extensively if you want to take a closer look. That's totally up to you. So to start getting this set up, um, basically the way this dialogue system works is we're going to have a series of managers that is managing the dialogue from a more bird's eye view. So different NPCs are going to have their CSV files linked to them, and then when you go up to talk to an NPC, the NPC is going to kind of send a request to the managers, like, "Hey, someone's talking to me. What should I say?" And then they'll send the text to the canvas to display it on the dialog box, and then they'll go through the conversations. Um, so to get started, I'm gonna make just an empty here where I'm gonna store a bunch of scripts for management. This is a design pattern I do a lot. You don't have to do it like this. You can split up the managers into different game objects if you want to. I just find this easy. Um, so the ones we want are the quest manager, the item manager. We're skipping that for now, but we still need to add it to the game object. And then the audio manager, and the audio manager is one. So quest manager, item manager, audio manager. Um, the audio manager is kind of a separate system that I made that you can choose to use or not. It's really simple to use. I can go through that in another explanation. Um, but also the dialogue system is kind of made to be customizable. So the reason we need it is because right now there's some tie-ins to my audio manager, but it would be super easy to delete them or switch it out for a different way you want to do it if that's how you want to do things. No worries. Um, so here we have our quest manager. Here we have a spot to just put in that quest CSV that we were working on earlier. Same with the item manager. And then we have a list here, which is going to be a list of our quests. We don't actually want to configure this. We just need to drop the CSV in here, and then the lists are going to uh, populate automatically. But I'm keeping it in public just so we can see the list of quests. It's kind of convenient to debug when you're experiencing some sort of issue. Um, so that's the managers all set there. We also need uh, a NPC dialogue manager to go on anything that is going to be uh, producing dialogue. So we have two NPCs here. Um, oh, you saw me. This is me cheating by preparing beforehand. Pretend they don't have anything on them. So we're gonna add an NPC dialogue manager, and then here we have settings for the character's name, um, the CSV file, how fast they talk. So this is going to be how quickly the letters appear in the dialog box. Um, and then this is going to be an option for the name of the sound that we want to play whenever a letter plays. Let's skip this for now. I think items and audio are gonna be a different thing, so just ignore this for now. And then this NPC also needs an NPC dialogue manager. Each one is gonna need a version of this script. So if we make a ton of NPCs, each one is gonna have to have its own copy. And that is pretty much it in terms of the code setup. We also need to put this prefab in, the dialog canvas. We can just drag it in, and this uses the TMP Pro text. So if you don't have this as part of your project, I did not set it up. We're going to need to import it. It gave us this nice little pop-up. We're going to go ahead and import this. We don't need the examples and extras. You can skip that. If it doesn't pop up for you for whatever reason, you can go to Window, Package Manager, and then search the Unity registry for TextMesh Pro, and you can install here. Cool. I need some water real quick. All right. So we have our dialog canvas here. So this is just a big UI canvas with it's very simply set up with the intention that you're gonna switch out these graphics for whatever you want and change the font and all that good stuff. But starting out, we just have this white background, a spot for the name of the character that you're talking to, and then an area for the actual text. And then this script, the dialog display, is hooked up. I'm kind of curious what this. Oh, maybe we don't want that actually. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at. Yeah, I don't know what this means. We're gonna ignore this. This is a Unity problem. Gone. Okay. It's not showing up right now. Hopefully, it shows up later. I'll fix this bug right here and now if we need to. But anyway, the dialog display should be all configured. You don't really need to do anything here. If you're modifying it and adding in different animations or something like that, we can talk about that in the future. But for now, it should be good. The NPC dialog manager is going to communicate with the dialog display automatically. So now all we need to do is configure our CSV files. So I've got my ones that I was working on earlier. We have our brother dialog, our rando dialog, which I'll just drag in here, and then the quest list and item list, which you saw in the other video, maybe. So in our managers, we need to put our quest list here. We need to put our item list here. And then for each NPC, I'm going to make this one the brother person. So I'll drag brother dialog into this CSV spot. And then I'll make this person the rando. So each NPC needs their own NPC dialog. And then don't forget to assign a name. This is what's going to be in the text box when it pops up. So I'll just name this person bro and this person rando for our example. So just to show you real quick before we actually test it. So here I press play, so we're in the game. And at runtime, if we go to our managers, you can see those quests that we configured are now here in the list. So you can look here, this is the ID for them, and then whether they're complete or not. So as you're playing, you can check and see what's complete to debug, which can be helpful. The item list is empty because we didn't set up any items, so that makes sense. And then for each NPC, we can look now at their conversations, and we have all of the settings here. So this is the trigger that's going to be set on completion. Here's all the dialogue. So if you're getting some sort of error, press play and then check to see how the conversations are set up, because maybe there's some sort of typo that is preventing these from being kind of slotted into the right spots. So worth checking up on. So now if we go up to a character, well, nothing happens because we need to configure interacting with this NPC dialogue manager. Right now, there's nothing saying, "Hey, I want to talk to you right now," you know? So I'm gonna go to our player movement script, which so far has been really simple. I'm just like taking in the input and then applying it to the player. We're just moving around is all. But the way that I will have us interact with the NPCs for right now is doing on collision enter. So whenever we run into them, it's just going to automatically start a conversation. Um, so I think the best way to do this would just be to check if the thing that we're colliding to is an NPC. So here uh, in our scene, we have the NPC objects, and they're tagged as NPCs. So I can check to see what tag this is. If it's an NPC, we know that we're colliding with something that has a NPC dialog manager on it. So in that case, I can do collision.gameObject.get the NPC dialog manager, and then we're just going to do start conversation. And it is as simple as that. Um, we can look at this code a little bit. We don't have to, but basically it's checking through all of the requirements, seeing what's met and what's not, what conversations already read, what quests have you completed, and it'll make a decision based on how you set up your CSV, what conversation to choose out of the options. So now if we save this file and then press play, when we go and run up to somebody, oh look, it starts a conversation here. Let me maximize this so you can see what's happening. So here we have a conversation, and then we can press space or click, and this is another thing you could change if you want to reconfigure it to progress. And we're just going through this conversation. You can also press space or click in the middle of them talking to skip to the end, and then click to end the conversation, and we move on. So, and then you can run to them again. There's another conversation. So here, if you remember, I don't need to get too deep back into the CSV business, but now we're stuck on a repeat requirement where this person is asking us for a tree and we haven't completed this quest, so they're going to keep saying it. And we have to go over to this person. We're getting some sort of glitch, and the reason is because of the audio system. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna cut or skip anything. We're just gonna solve this real quick. I think the reason is okay. Yeah. So here we have options in the NPC dialog manager to set what sound is played when you're talking to somebody, and they make little like sound effects for the text. So the way the audio system works, I can go into this more in the future, but basically you load in sounds here. So we would drag like an audio clip and then give it a name, and then here in the NPC dialog manager, you would put a name of one of those sound clips, and it would search for it and find it and play it. And it defaulted to a value here that we don't have in the audio manager, so it caused this error. So I think hopefully if we clear this out and keep these blank, we should be all good. Let's try that again. This time I'm going to talk to this person first. And you can see we got the other dialog option where they're not talking about the wood business. They're just talking about random shit. And then if we have this, I think the second one is the conversation where he assigns the quest. Or yeah, this one. Now they're asking for the wood, so then when we go talk to this person, they're talking about the wood. And then we can go back here. It's kind of hard to tell like what's supposed to be happening without having the CSV pulled up. But if we pause this real quick, go to our quest list, you can see we've completed this quest. I think we probably completed all of them now. Yeah. as we were going through and talking to these NPCs, they were uh, setting our quest to complete, um, and interacting with each other, so it affects what conversation options they choose. So that is the basic setup here. Um, there's a lot of customization that you're going to want to do, I imagine, especially with switching out the UI. And then I have these uh, like simple animations set up to make the dialogue appear on the screen with a little like pop-up thing. So you might want to switch that out. Let me know if you need assistance in the customization, but I'm hoping this video is enough to at least get you started, um, and setting up those CSV files for the NPCs, and just getting the ball rolling. So if you have any glitches, let me know. Um, I'm gonna keep expanding the system a little bit, but yeah, it should be good to start you out. Good luck. Hope it's fun. Hope it works well. Um, Happy coding.